Hello everyone. Today I want to look at some topics that we didn't complete in our last lesson. We want to look at creating an absolute reference. Maybe in the previous lesson we were talking about referencing the cell, whereby when you want to add 2 or 3 numbers, the two numbers may be A1 plus A2. We don't add the numbers in those cells, but we reference those cells, which is A1 plus A2, to get the answer. So on this one, we want to create what we call the absolute reference, whereby the number in that cell will not change. So when we look at this thing, it says the concept. There are two basic type of reference in Excel. We've got what we call relative, which is the one which we're talking about. Then we have the absolute. The difference between absolute and relative reference become apparent when you copy formulas from one cell to another. So when you drag those cells, maybe our answer is in A3, and we've got values which goes down maybe to row number 8. When you copy the formulas going down using dragging function, the file references will change respectively. But when we're using absolute, there's only that absolute reference which will not change. It will keep it as it is. So when we talk of absolute reference, always refers to the same cell regardless or where the formula is copied. So we'll look at that as we go. So for a relative cell is just C1. So when we are dealing with absolute cell reference, it will be included with these dollar signs. So we also have what we call the mixed reference. On the mixed reference, the first one, the column does not adjust or does not change, but what changes is the row. And here now, the column changes and the row doesn't. But when we talk of absolute, we're talking of the total. The total cell, whereby the whole cell doesn't change, even if when we drag anything. So let's look at this one. If we say sum is equal to that, so the commission here, we are saying the commission, we're going to give it, we're going to multiply it by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4. So these things, they are not a absolute reference because they are changing as the cell goes down. But now when we are dealing with absolute reference, the cell will remain as it is. I think we are going to have an example for that one later, as we'll be doing the exercise for that concept. So here, let's look at this one, which is saying using the if function. So most people, they are not well versed with the if function. So normally, an if function is a decision function whereby it gives you two answers. Either the answer can be a yes or a no, can be a true or a false. So we say when you're using an if function, you are using booleans. The boolean function whereby it's a 1 or a 0. So for example, if then we put the condition. The condition is if A1 is less than 10, comma, it means it's over 10. else it's less than 10. So here we've got the condition. This is the condition, and this is the first answer, which is the positive answer, which is agreeing with this statement. And this one is saying otherwise. So the syntax of the if function can read if, then we put the logic test. The logic test is what we want to test. Maybe if A is greater than B, then the first value is a true value. If A is greater than B, then yes, it is, or it's not, which means it's false. So on the logic test, we have got equal, we've got not equal, we've got greater than, greater, equal, we've got less than, we've less or equal. Then the outcome, if it's true, it depends with what you want. It will quote maybe a cell name, a reference, or we can put another function. So we're going to do this once and for all. We're not going to do the exercise. So let's look at on this exercise, there's no if function. So let me scroll and see what exercise were they using. So let me check and we can do it. So we are using the document cell 72, which is this one. So on cell 72, it reads, go to G8. So if we go to G8, we want to calculate the bonuses. So how do we calculate the bonus? So on this question, it reads, open the cell 72 document, display bonus worksheet. You want to calculate bonus of 10% of sales to the team of sales, but they will only receive this bonus if they exceed their quota. So if they exceed their quota, so for example, the first one, the quota is what? Is 51, and all their sales are less than that. So how do we do the calculation? So the first quarter, the total amount is 49,750. Then the quarter is that, which means we want to see if they get a bonus. So how do you calculate the bonus? We go to the fx, then we go to if function, then we click OK. So on the test, we enter E8, which is this one, should be greater than F8, has to get the bonus. So here, if in the first command now, we want to see what are the results, so that we may know the first thing says input comma appears like that. So the first one, if it's greater, then it's E8 multiplied by 10%. Or either you can say E8 multiplied by 1.10. We said 10% is equivalent to 1.1. So what are we doing here? The question says, if they exceeds the quota amount here, they get a 10% of this amount, which will be added to them. But if they don't get. So if it's false, what do they get? They get nothing. Nothing represented by 0. So sometimes the question doesn't want you to calculate the percentage. Maybe it wants you to put yes or no. You just put yes here, and you just put no here, and you put your condition, then you click OK. So because this value is less than this one, the answer will be this one. But now, if we copy the same formula using dragging function, this one is greater than this. So we calculate 10% of this one, which is 5,550, 10% of that. And this one is less than that, to get 0. So this is how we calculate using the if functions. As we move, we want to do an example for absolute referencing. At first, I'll show you what is relevant referencing. Let's say, for example, want to calculate the commission. So our commission is 10% of the total. So how do we do it? Say E is equal to E5 multiplied by I1. So when we do this, we find our commission. And when we copy the formula down, as you can see, the formula here says E6 multiplied by I2 multiplied by I3. Let me show the formula so that you can see what I'm talking about. So as we can see on this formula, the moment you drag, all the things will change as they go. So how do we correct this? We correct this by changing this value, the formula, and make it absolute. So we go to the formula, we put a $sign here and another $sign there. Then we press enter. So the moment we are going to copy this formula, as we drag it down, only the total values will change, but the value of the commission, which is the 10%, the reference cell will remain as it is. As you can see, this is a $sign I, $sign 1 from up to down. So when we remove formulas, we can see that they are now calculation, and the calculation is correct. So this is how we reference our formula. So as we proceed with the formula, most people were complaining, says that we don't understand and we don't know how to reference. So we can move down and skip the copying and pasting options. Although they are important, but most of the copying and pasting is one and the same for all the questions. Just like a drag and drop, which I was using. Then we've got the undo and the redo. I know most of us were well versed with that one. So I'll skip that one. But now we have this section which talk about data management, whereby we need to sort, find, replace, and find and replace a cell. This topic is common in all applications. The way we copy, the way we sort, it's one and the same. Not much we're going to look it here. Maybe we are going just to do the review. So we need to open the document EX sort. So as you can see, there is our document, namely EX sort. So want to sort the data. So sort the list in the employee worksheet in descending order. So where are the employee? Sort the list in the employee worksheet. So this is the employee worksheet in descending order by hire date. So this is the hire date. So how do we do it? We go to edit, we look for sort. We customize our sorting. So when we customize our sorting, we look for the hired date. We click on hired date and say it's descending. So descending is from old to newest. That's descending. Ascending, we're starting from new going to the oldest. So we sort. So as we can see, this person was hired in 1988, then 91, then it goes. So we say it's what? Oh, sorry, this is ascending. This is ascending. So we're descending, both were starting from 2004, going down until to 1980 something. So this is how we sort. So sort the list in admin. So you have to click on the sheet called admin in their order using what? Last name. So we highlight our information. We go to sort by custom. Then what we need to pick the last name. This one says ascending, which is A to Z. Then we click sort. So this one display the employee sheet. So you click again and go back to that sheet. So this one says use find and replace dialog box to find employee with status of 2. Notice that Excel locates any entry in the worksheet containing 2. So how are we going to do this one? So we go on find. Then here on this one now, we need to be very careful. So with our question is very tricky. Remember on this sheet, we've got so many tools. We've got 2 here, we've got 2 here, we've got 2 there, but it's asking that we need to find the true in status. So how do we do that? First thing, we need to highlight the column with 2. This is the status what? A column. Then you go on find. So the moment you click find and the moment you type 2, it's going to only check the number of appearance for 2 in that column. So Excel locates any entry in the worksheet containing 2. But this was a notice. But for you not to search anything which is outside the perimeter that we're given, we highlight the portion that we want to search and click find. So when you click find, it will tell you that it only appears 16 times. So when we count the number of tools in this column here, it will tell you that it only appears 2 times. So if you check here, this cell is well referenced because it's $E. So we are only dealing with E. So to make sure that your answer is correct, you need to check here. It must remain E, 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 E. Which one is the column E? Is this one. So our answer is 16. Then the next question says, select the match entire cell containing content option, find and replace dialog. Now find all the button. Find all employees with status 2. Notice the Excel location entry contains 2 for the total of 16 occasions. So let's look at this one. Go and find, then we are just looking for 2. So in this document, 2 appeared 69 times. So we need to be very careful when we are searching for anything. So now the last question says find and replace 7. So want to replace 7. So you go on. We now go on replace. Then we will type what are we going to find? Find the occasion of status 7 and replace it with 5. So we want to only change on 7 here. 7, we want to change the appearance of 7 on the status alone. So 7, we're replacing 7 with what? With 5. Then we say replace 4. So there were only 2 7s. So there were 2, so we now have a 5 and a 5 here. So that's all about sort, search, and find. Still continuing with our works. Let's look at lesson 13. We talk about the creation of charts. We've got charts, different types of chart, inserting pie charts, blah, blah, blah. Adding chart title, labels, layout, etc., etc. So how do we create these charts? I'll just browse through as we go. So we can create charts by using these icons. So we've got what we call the 2D column cluster charts, which is the first one. We need to know this one. Then we can insert a line chart. We can do all kinds of things by inserting and naming charts. So about naming charts, I don't think it's a big thing because you also need to read. So when you want to resize the chart, we can use these 3 corners, whereby the corner you can go in, you can go out, you can go in, and you can also go out. It's used to resize. So about chart title, I'll show you where you can add the chart title, the icons, as we'll be doing the revision exercise. I will show you everything. We have what we call the chart area, we have the plot area. There's a difference between plot area and chart area. I think we did that when we were doing a presentation, how to add labels, how to add the legend, how to add data labels, how do we move the chart, how do we delete the chart. So let's all open EX chart. So this is our data for the folder EX chart. So the question reads, select the range A4 to D9. So this is A4 to D9. Then the question, insert a 3D chart. So let me increase this one. We go on insert. So on insert, what type of chart are we supposed to insert? Let me make this thing big. A 3D column. So we look for columns. So the question says insert a 3D chart. So the moment you click, automatically the 3D chart will eventually appear with the chart title not labeled. And this one is called the legend. We don't have the data label. So we are going to look at all those things. So move and resize the chart so that in this span cell A12 to G25. A12, this is A12, so we're going to drag it A12 and it must reach G, and the G is G what? Let me check. G25. So up to G25. This is G25. So it's from A12 to G25. You must know how to do this. So change the chart type to cluster. So on chart type, you click on the chart, then chart type is found here. So you click on chart type. If you can't find the chart type, you need to check here. There is chart design. Yes, we've got this, but every time you click, we end at help. So the moment you click at the chart, you can see more titles are added, which is the one for formatting and that. So we have to change the design. So we click on chart design. We click here. Then we find the 2D, which is this one. So this one is the cluster 2D. It's not the 3D. Then we click OK. Then there goes our answer. Then move the totals to a new sheet called totals. Where are the totals? These are the totals. We are moving them to a new sheet called totals. How do we move the totals to that sheet? How do we do it? How do we change everything? As we can see, our chart is like this. So moving the chart is very simple. We click on the chart, then we go on chart design, then there is move the chart. Click on move the chart. We look for the name. The object is in this. So we need to put the new name of the chart where we want to move. Choose where you want to place the charts. So let's do it. You come here, you click, and you find totals. So the moment you click OK, the chart will be moved from by week to totals. So this is our new one. This is where our chart migrated to. So this is how we migrate the charts. So I think our questions are over, but I want to add more questions and more explanations about charts. So still on charts, when you are asked to add the legend, you click on this area which is called the chart area, and this one inside is called the plot area. So when you click here, you will find chart elements whereby there's the x-axis, chart title, grid lines. You can remove the grid lines if you want. You can edit. You can remove the legend, or you can add the legend. You can place them anywhere. Or we can as well add the data labels, whereby there are numbers here. So all these things can be done using this button called the chart elements. So we can change different type of chart elements. We can change the background of the plot area. We can change the background of the chart area or plot area. It depends with what you want to do. So this is all about the charts for now. So let's look about at one of the last topics, which talks about page setup. This topic is not as easy as we might think. It's a little bit challenging. Most people, they don't know or they are not well versed about the page setups. I know we only know much about the orientation, whereby we talk about portrait and landscape. But here, yes, the orientation is there. We've got the margin, page size, footers, etc., etc. So let's get in it. So working with margins, which is the most important, here are our margins, whereby you're asked maybe to move the margin 5 centimeters in or 2 centimeters out. So these are our margins, how we do. Then when we talk of page size, on page size we go on layout. You can change it maybe to A3, A4. You can scale it to any size. And again, we can go on view, then we click on page layout. Then we can put the header and the footers, depending with the type. I know when we are using other applications like Word, you find the header and footer on insert, but it's a little bit different here. So here we need to go on view so that we can find those things. Then we've got go to head footer, go to what? Then we've got scaling. So on scaling now, your worksheet to fit your pages. I know most people have got troubles with fitting their pages on a correct sheet, the worksheet on a page. So how do we do that? We use this thing called the page layout, whereby we change the width and height using pages. It's simple. I will show you when we'll be doing. Then we want to repeat rows and columns. How do we do that? We click on print titles. Then we can repeat those things. I know you will find them in your diagnostic, and sometimes it's not easy, but I will show you the easiest way of doing it. So let's look at this page. Then we can do everything we'll be asked. So here we are. So let's look at this page. It talks about margins. We want to look at margins. So the question says change the margin, change all the margins to 5, to 0.5, and the heading and footers margins to that. So where do we find the margins? We said you go on layout, then you go to margins. What do? we customize. So it says what? Change all the question says change all the margins to 0.5. So how do we do that? The top is asked to be 0.5. Here you're asked to put 0.5 and this one 0.5 and this one 0.5. Then we are asked to change the header and footer to 0.2 and this one again 0.2. Then we click OK. Then center the horizontal, the worksheet horizontally. Center it horizontally. So when we are asked to center it horizontally, you go on margins, customize, you click on horizontally, then you click OK. Then change the orientation to landscape and scale the worksheet to fit 1 page wide and 3 pages tall. How do we do that? We go on orientation. Then on orientation, we say landscape. We've changed it to landscape. Then we said 1 page wide and 3 page tall. So this is 1 page wide. When we talk about tall, we're talking of height. So we choose 3 pages there. Then, boom, we're done. Then select the built-in footer. One of that. Where do we find the footer? On view. Then when we go to view, we go to page layout. And from page layout, where do we go? Hello, sorry. Here, let's go on, not this page layout. Let's go to insert head and footer. On head and footer, the question reads what? Inbuilt footer. Want a footer, so we go on footer, then we look for one of question marks. So we place it, after placing it, double click on it. So automatically the computer will give us one of Chakadaro, two of Chakadaro on the footer. Then create a custom header with the title that maybe here I'm not going to type anything, I'm going to copy, but you are supposed to type. Want to create a header. Go on header, which is customized. So how do we customize? We put a word here. We type whatever we're going to type. Then the moment we do that, it means we customize the header. We type what we want, and the header is supposed to be centered. So our heading is well centered. Then the next question says, create a customized footer. Add the file name at the left and the date at the right. Do not remove the page number. How do we do that? Go on insert. Where do we go? Oh. Seems as if Our document is shaking a little bit, but we go on footer and header. The moment you click footer, then we move to the header, then click insert header and footer. We go to this margin. Let me look for the one which we are using. So we can just scroll. Simple. Then on the right side, we ask to put what? On the left, put the name of the document. And what is the name of the document? EXE. Well, paste the name of the document. Then the next person on the right side, put the date. Do not remove the. So on the date side, we click here, then we go to the date, then we click here. Automatically, it's going to give us the date. It will pick the date as we will print. The system will automatically pick the date, then it will print the date. So this is how we pick the dates. Then on the other thing says, select any cell on the worksheet, then return to normal view. View, go back to normal view. So on normal view, you won't see anything. You won't see the demarcation of the pages. That's why they say so. Set the option to print the grid lines. Where do we find the grid lines? On view. These are the grid lines. So the question says, set the option to print grid lines. So it's already ticked, which means the grid lines will appear. But if it's not ticked, means no grid lines will appear. So repeat the month of the year, row number 4, at the top of the printing page. Row number 4, which is this one. So how do we do that now? It's very simple. This is our row. So where do we go? Page layout. Then we click on printing title. So at the row top here, we click here, then we drag so that this thing will appear at the top. Press enter and click OK. So about the grid lines, which we're talking about, here the grid lines are not ticked. So we will pick the grid lines so that they will appear. So when you print now, let's try to make a print preview so that you can see what we are talking about. So if you check this column here, even if we go to page 2, we still have it. We go to page 3, we still have it. It means it will remain there in all pages. It will be showing. So repeat the district and product name in column A at the left of each printing page. So we go to column A, Go on print type, click there. Want to choose this column, then we press enter. Okay, so during printing now, this will be moving, but this will remain there. They will not disappear when we move our data. So that's the purpose. So now say preview all the pages, we did that. Then vertically center the worksheet and return to scale of 100%. So want to vertically scale it. Then after vertically scaling it, the next thing says what? Let's return the scale to 100%. How do we do that? How do we return the scale to? I'm changing the scale, the size. You go on 100%, you click on adjust. Then on adjust, we put 100%, then 100%, we click OK. So from there, we go to view and normal. So this is how we deal with the normal view and the worksheet. So the last one is similar to other one, whereby we just click on print and other things. So for now, I just want to thank you. Keep on watching in more videos to come. Thank you.